Later, while Lorenzo is bathing, the nuns enter Lorenzo's room and make love. The movie starts with a guy named Lorenzo being chased by some people. Lorenzo is a gambler who beat a man named Gino. Gerbino, Gino's friend, can't stand losing and wants to kill Lorenzo. Fortunately, Lorenzo gets away. Lorenzo is met by his friends who tell him that his house is surrounded by the Gerbino. After that, Lorenzo leaves the city. Next, we meet a girl named Pina, who is the princess of the town. Her parents recently died from the plague, and she is forced to marry the Russian Count Dzerzhinsky. Gerbino lies and says Pina's father owed him a lot of money and borrowed from him to pay off his debt. Later, Lorenzo rides away on horseback from Gerbino's guards. Lorenzo hides in a tree from the bandits, but then falls and loses consciousness. Some nuns pass by and carry Lorenzo to the church. The nuns admire his looks and, unable to resist, they start kissing him. One of the nuns offers to undress him to see if he has any wounds. She lifts up his shirt and kisses his stomach, and then offers a kiss on the lips. Lorenzo notices all this, but remains silent. Then their mother arrives and asks about Lorenzo. Since the nuns like him, they lie and say he's a gardener who is deaf and mute. Lorenzo hears everything and sees this as a chance to hide in the church from Gino's men. Later, while Lorenzo is bathing, the nuns enter Lorenzo's room and make love. Later, Pampanea invites her friends to her wedding. Her friends suggest that she should go to a nearby church and pretend to be a nun. They tell her that Prince Zinska will arrive in a few days, and she can marry him then. But until that time, she needs to stay safe. Then they show Pampanea, who has arrived at the monastery to save herself. She sees Lorenzo and asks who he is. The nuns tell her that he is the gardener. Lorenzo takes one of the nuns to the bushes to be intimate with her, and Pina sees this happen. At this point, Count Dzerzhinsky arrives. Gerbino tells Zinska to return to Russia because Pampina will marry him. Hearing this, Zinska gets angry and leaves. He is met by the pastor, who informs him that Pampanea is waiting for him at a country villa and hands him a letter from her. He learns from a worker that Pampina has gone to the church in the nearby town and is hiding there disguised as a nun. Two nuns come to Lorenzo and ask him to give them what he gave to the other nuns, asking him to clap them. They begin to undress, and Lorenzo nods happily. After clapping, they take him to their mother's room, and he also claps the mother all day long. At this time, Tindaro leaves with Bruno. Later, Dioneo and his friend notice two girls beckoning to them. The boys follow the girls to the barn. Philomena hears the boys and girls screaming from the barn. She enters and sees the boys rubbing against each other and the girls. That day, the nuns and Pampanea come to Lorenzo to give him water. However, Pampina doesn't like all this. The next day, Pampanea comes to Lorenzo. She blindfolds him, kisses him, and tells him that she is dreaming about him. But when Lorenzo removes the blindfold, he sees she's gone. Pampina then goes straight to the mother and says Lorenzo is a liar. She heard him singing in the garden, so he's not mute or deaf. The nun approaches Lorenzo, who is sleeping, and tells him in his ear that a butcher has come to cut out his tongue. Lorenzo gets scared and wakes up shouting, "Please don't kill me." The mother gets angry because he lied about his disability and kicks Lorenzo out of the church. That day, Count Dzerzhinsky, having escaped from the men of Gerbino, comes to drink at the waterfall. There he sees a bathing nun named Melissa. Zinska tells her that he's the Prince of Russia and has come here to marry Princess Pampina. He asks her where Pampina is, and the nun lies, telling him that she is Pampina. She comes out of the water and they kiss, and then both clap each other. Pampanea passes by the monastery and meets Lorenzo. She says she is going to her wedding, and Lorenzo decides to go with her. Pina and Lorenzo have reached town, and Pina tells Lorenzo that he can stay with her in her house for a few days. At this moment, Tindaro approaches the monastery and says that the abbess of this monastery is a woman of incomparable lust and passion. He meets her in the monastery and says that he has come to serve and pray. She takes him to the steam room and offers to take care of business. During dinner time, Lorenzo confesses that he has fallen in love with a nun who kissed him in the church, and he couldn't see her face but wanted to marry her. Pina doesn't reveal to Lorenzo that she is the same girl he is talking about. While they are walking, Pampanea offers to refresh his memory. But Gerbino appears and attacks Lorenzo, but Pampina tells him she is ready to marry him if he doesn't kill Lorenzo and lets him go. After this, Gerbino has Lorenzo imprisoned in jail. The next day, Pampina tells Gerbino that she won't marry him until he releases Lorenzo from jail safely. Gerbino agrees and says that they will marry soon. Lorenzo, only taken out of Tindaro, tells him to please Pampanea allows him to stall for time until the wedding. At this time, Lorenzo goes with the guards to the forest. They tell him that Gerbino has ordered him to be killed, but they let him go. But they attack Lorenzo, prompting him to defend himself and end up killing both of them. Lorenzo then sets off back to town to rescue Pampina. At this time, Tindaro is stalling for time to make it to the wedding. He slowly pours wine into the glasses when Zinska arrives unexpectedly. He declares that Pina belongs to him and that he is the one who will marry her. Lorenzo also arrives and takes Pampanea away. The Count and Gerbino fight, but Lorenzo stops them, then tells Zinska that Gerbino is his prey and he will be the one to kill him. Gerbino, wielding his sword, begins to fight atop a well. They fight and Lorenzo offers him a choice. If he jumps into the deep well, he can survive. Gerbino attacks Lorenzo and Lorenzo manages to overpower Gerbino and pushes him into the well, causing him to fall to his death. Pompanea arrives and the Count asks for her hand in marriage. Zinska is confused and asks about what happened the day before. Pampena doesn't know and takes off her veil. Zinska realizes Pampena is not the woman he fell in love with. At this moment, Elisa, whom he loves the most, appears. Pampena can't find Lorenzo, who has disappeared. Pina runs outside and sees Lorenzo leaving. Pompanea runs after Lorenzo and kisses him. But Lorenzo says no because he loves the nun who kissed him in the church. Pampena asks him to close his eyes and kisses him. In that moment, he remembers who kissed him in the monastery. Lorenzo realizes that Pampena is the girl he had fallen in love with. The wedding takes place and everyone kisses.